Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to be sketching a graph by completing the square. So just think, when we complete the square, we are getting it in our turning point form. So I'm just going to write that equation down so you can see what we're trying to put it into. So that is y equals x minus h squared plus k. Whereas h is the turning point, is the x value for the turning point, and k is the y value for the turning point. So first thing I need to do is think about how do I complete the square. So I need to think about two numbers that add up to b, so 4, and they must be the exact same. So I know 2 and 2. So from what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be rewriting my equation. Y equals x squared plus 4x. Now, the thing I'm not going to be doing now, I'm going to be thinking about, okay, what is 2 squared? Because if those 2's are my numbers, c is those two numbers times that equals c. So 2 squared, or 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to go plus 4 minus 4, because they cancel out, and then I've got plus 1 here. So that leaves me, I'm just going to rub off this equation now. So that leaves me with thinking about this part of the equation, this part here, and I'm going to factorize that. So if I factorize this, I know that 2 and 2 times together is equal 4, and they add up to equal 4. So that leaves me with y equals x plus 2 squared minus 4 plus 1. Let's simplify this part. If I've got minus 4 and I'm adding 1 to it, it becomes minus 3. So y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. Now, in relation to our graph, first thing we need to think about is our points. Now, if we remember that our equation is actually x take h squared plus k. So how did this takeover become a positive? The number would have been a negative. So that means it's x's value is -2, -1, -2, and the y value is -3. -1, -2, -3. So I put it, that is my turning point. I know straight away it is a min because my a is positive. Only other thing that I'm going to find to graph it is I am going to find my y-intercept. Quite easy to do. Y-intercept is we just substitute 0 for x, because when it goes through the y, x must be 0. So I'm going to go back up to this equation. Y equals 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 1. Well, 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So we're just left with y equals 1. So that means I know it goes through the y axis when y is 1. And then I can draw my graph. There, and there we go. Let's move on to our next question. 6x squared plus 6x plus 15. Straight away when I'm thinking about completing the square, I look at b. What are two numbers that are exactly the same that I can add to equal 6? 3. And then 3 times 3 should equal C, which 3 times 3 equals 9. It doesn't, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 9 and take 9. So I'll rewrite my equation, x squared plus 6x, add 9, take 9. So I haven't changed my equation because I've added it and I'm taking it away. Add 15. Now that I've done that, I just look at this part of my equation. And I factorize it. So if I factorize that part of my equation, it becomes x plus 3 squared minus 9 plus 15. Now, I would like to simplify this part here. If I've got negative 9 and I'm adding 15, it means I've got positive 6. So I'll rewrite that. Y equals x plus 3 squared plus 6 plus positive 6. So, the turning point. I know that this is a plus, it should be a minus. So that, how did it get to a plus? The 3 would have been a minus, so it will be minus 3. So our turning point is minus 3 and 6. How do we know what point it goes through in the y-axis? Well, I just make everything 0. X 0, so 0 squared is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. So y is always going to be the c's value. So y-intercept is 15. So again, I can do it over here. I know that the turning point is negative 3 and positive 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know negative 3 up. So there it is. Negative 3 and 6. And I know my y-intercept is at 15. So this line will keep on going. And I'll go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I can draw my graph. And there you have it. So it's really just about finding the turning point and knowing that C is the y-intercept, and that is how we can graph our equations. Really hope that helps you understand how to graph a parabola. If you need any extra help, feel free to message me.